now have a combined average salary of $69 million per year, $10 million more than any other wide receiver duo. That surpasses Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Jason McCourty here with me in studio, looking clean. I saw that chain on Get Up. That's beautiful.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay, good to have you with us. All right, Jason, tell me this. What do you think of the deals that the Bengals made? I didn't think they'd sign both of them.
I didn't think so either. And I look at it at a DB perspective. You see these two guys under contract, and you start to say, my goodness, I'm having nightmares. The issue is that includes the Cincinnati Bengals DBs as well, because they're looking around and they realize there is no help on the way because all of the money is now being spent on the offensive side of the ball. So there are question marks when you come to roster building, but specifically to Jamar Chase and to T. Higgins. Both of these brothers deserve their money. They have been at the top of the game. I fully expected the Bengals to have to trade T. Higgins to get something back for him to build this team up strong enough for Joe Burrow and them able to go out there and actually compete for a Super Bowl. There's question marks around this defense and what they did last year. So now you run it back, you bring these two receivers back. You have Joe Burrow. You have the offense that can put up 50 points a game. The question mark is, can you stop the other side of the ball from scoring 51? So as I look at this, as good as a move it is, as nice it is to see the Cincinnati Bengals spend money to keep their players, something that we've called them out about for years. You love that fact of it. But from a roster building standpoint, there is now a ton more pressure on Joe Burrow to have to show up because no one wants to hear the excuse that the defense isn't good enough when you've paid the receivers that you asked for to stay at home and have those weapons to throw the ball to.
Shay, where are you on this?
I agree with what he said. I'm surprised. I didn't think they could get it done. Now, and first, could they get it done? And whether or not Mike Brown was going to spend the money, we know Mike Brown cheap. I mean, he squeezed the dollar so tight, Steve, that you can hear the eagle screaming because he got the dollar clutching it so tight because he ain't trying to let go of any money. But he did it. He paid $40+ million, and it was the same thing. It's better to sign guys early than to sign them late because you pay a premium, because you pay them what they're worth, and then they add you a surcharge. And that's what Chase did. That's what T. Higgins did. But in the process of doing that, you compromise an already compromised defense. Now, Hendrickson, it's going to be interesting. He's going to want $30+ million. So if you sign him and you give him $30+ million, basically over half of your salary cap is tied up in 4 players. How do you build a defense? How do you get? Pratt says he wants to get traded because they can't pay him. Your DBs is already compromised. Look, we know they're going to be able to score points, but can you stop anybody from scoring? And it puts so much pressure on your offense to be perfect because one possession in which you don't score could potentially cost you the game, and we saw that happen to them last year. I'm surprised they were able to dig down in their coffers and get it done, considering that this is the Cincinnati Bengals, and Mike Brown does not like to part ways with a ton of money. But this is what they had to do. I agree with you, McCourty. I thought they were going to have to trade T in order to get something back in turn and then go spend those draft compensation on the defensive side of the football. They went back and they got Al Golden, who's the defensive coordinator of Notre Dame. They brought him back. They let go of I forget his defensive coordinator name. They let him go because he was giving up too much. But I don't think it was the Lou Amarula. I don't think it was him. I just don't think the personnel that he had was good enough to get it done on a consistent basis, game in and game out.
Well, listen, I don't disagree with anything y'all said. Hell, y'all know more than me, but I will tell you this. I think this is a moment to applaud the Cincinnati Bengals. It's a rarity. Let's do it. We understand that the quarterback position is the most important position in the National Football League. You have a stud in Joe Burrow, who came on the record and has been on the record in their face publicly. Y'all need to handle this. Came on our show Super Bowl week, did not shy away one bit, made it very, very clear what he wanted. And they went out and did what he wanted. Now, yeah, they lost 4 games last year where the Bengals scored 33 or more points. But damn it, they scored 33 or more points. And so when you look at it from that standpoint, okay, at the very least, Shannon, at the very least, Jay, you will be entertained because that brother Jamar Chase is something special. And Jamar Chase, I just want to take this moment. I'm so proud of this brother. I'm so happy for this brother. He got the insurance policy to make sure that he got his money in case he got injured last year. He went on the field. He wasn't just playing ball. He was balling. This brother is one of the elite receivers in the game of football. Shannon, you called it because you was watching the market and talked about how this brother was going to command $40 million a year. And sure enough, that's what he got, and he deserves it because the brother is all world. He is spectacular. Jamal Chase is something special. And T. Higgins is no slouch. And 2 of his years are guaranteed as well. So I'm really happy for them. But you got to be happy for Joe Burrow because his primary targets have been taken care of. He's the franchise. So even though we got to look at them, and it's a situation right now where I'm looking at their cap situation, guys, and those 3 players alone are going to take up about $124 million. And your cap on your defensive side of the ball in terms of the obligations runs around $79 million. So you look at it from that standpoint, this is a team that ranked 25th in both total defense and scoring defense. They were 3rd worst in the red zone. We understand they got work to do, but you got to take care of the studs first. And that's what they did, because at least now you got a chance. You might lose, you might win games giving up 35 points, but at least you know you can score it. And you're going to entertain along the way. You had to do what Cincinnati did, and I'm not going to knock them for it. I'm really not.
You can't knock them for it, and it was a big day for them. Stephen A., it's a big day for me. This is the first time I've been on with Unc, and I ran into Unc in the airport coming back from the Super Bowl, and I went to go say what's up. Unc, it might have been a long night. He looked at me like he seen a ghost. He didn't know who I was. So that fact that I'm on first take, got SA on one side, I got Unc on the other side. Right. It's a big day for me, too. Now, It didn't come along with $40 million, as you would say, SA, but I'm doing all right, so I appreciate it.
No J-Mac, I think the thing is for the Bengals, Stephen A., this is what you have to do. For the longest time, Cincinnati has been desolate. You have an opportunity. Now, this is not to say that you're going to win, but at least give your fan base something to get and stay excited about. You see the Rams, for the longest time, the Rams was going for it. They're like, we're going for it every year. And they had to get off of some of their players. Cincinnati, you have this opportunity. You have one of the better quarterbacks in the National Football League. You got 2 of the best receivers in the National Football Leagues. Now it's time for you to put that forward and try to capitalize that. And you might not get a Super Bowl out of it, and you might only get 1. But I believe if you give Cincinnati, that fan base, 1 Super Bowl, they'll remember this for the rest of their life, considering they had been the laughingstock for the longest time. No one, I remember when I first got into the league, Stephen A., if you weren't doing what you were supposed to, okay, I'm going to trade you to Cincinnati, I'm going to trade you to Indy, or I'm going to trade you to New England. Now, New England, hey, for about 20 years, people, you wanted to get traded to New England, but you didn't want to go to those teams early. And so now you have an opportunity with that quarterback, with that receiving core. Let's see what they can do. Can they build a comparable defense? Obviously, you're not going to be able to spend that kind of money, Stephen A. and J-Mac, on that side of the football, on the defensive side of football. But you got to get something comparable. You got to get something that says, okay, just don't give up 40. As long as you don't give up 40, I believe our offense can consistently probably go get 32. But look at what they did with Baltimore. Stephen A., they scored 38. They lost by 4. They just give up 41. They go to Baltimore again the next week. They give up a bunch of points.
That's last year.
And so that's the problem they're going to have. Can you stop somebody when you have to stop them?
All right, it remains to be seen, but a closed mouth doesn't get fed, and Joe Burrow said what he wanted, and they delivered. Coming up.
Mình đã móc được 3 cái ô này rồi. Nó sẽ đan xen như này nhá. Bây giờ móc những mũi tiếp theo. Tiếp tục móc. Cứ lần lượt từng mũi một nha mọi người. Đây mũi tiếp theo này. Cứ lần lượt như này là được. Mình sẽ móc vòng quanh nhá, móc vòng quanh. Tiếp tục những mũi tiếp theo này. Đây, móc tiếp xuống này. Mọi người cứ móc đủ 4 mũi vào một chân này là được nhé. Đây, mũi tiếp. Cứ lần lượt cho đến hết. Đấy, đủ 4 mũi rồi. Mình lại móc sang những cái mũi tiếp theo. Mọi người cứ làm luân phiên cho đến hết cho mình. Mũi nữa này. Mình gỡ thêm len nhé. Gỡ thêm len để sử dụng. Rồi bây giờ sẽ móc tiếp nhé.